Fascinating analysis.
Does speak, and the comments from the people who are watching and reviewing this are the same. It's probably a bad B1.
I see. Japanese, let's go.
はいはい、そうです。私はアニメの大ファンで64シリーズを完成しました。それから漢字を上手させるために漫画も読み始めまして。日本語は私の漢字を私はアニメの大ファンで64シリーズを完成しました。それから漢字を上手させるために漫画も読み始めまして。日本語は私のとってエンターテインメントと学びを同時に当ててくれる唯一の言語です。実は日本語は私のお気に入りの第二語です。
So his Japanese was interesting because although it was understandable to those who commented on it, apparently he was speaking with a very stereotypical manga accent.
At the beginning only. At the beginning only he clearly did, which was a little cringe. And then after that, he didn't anymore, but he has a very thick accent. So once again, it's not a bad thing to have an accent. You can reach excellent fluency and maintain your accent. Usually I suggest people rather to try and I want to become a native speaker, which is extremely difficult to do. Just try to get, still, if that's what you want to do, feel free to do it. If it motivates you, as long as it motivates you, it must not frustrate you. If it frustrates you, give it up, reach a good level. But if it motivates you, makes you happy, you love the idea, I want to sound as close to a native as possible, absolutely do it. But what I usually tell my students is try to reach a level whereby you get rid of all of those elements of your pronunciation which would make any communicative event difficult. So the other speaker doesn't understand your pronunciation because your accent is too strong. Then you need to work on it. Because a successful communicative event is what we are trying to achieve when we study languages and we want to learn how to speak them. In the majority of cases, not always, unless you want to become like a written translator, whatever. So yeah, also there is no pitch whatsoever. Not that, once again, pitch is a really contrasted element, but because this guy is a super polyglot genius, I'm expecting the pitch as well, right? And he did say kanji, even though it's kanji. And there are a million other things where the pitch was, he of course has no idea that even exists. It's a very, once again, beginner level Japanese of someone who has just started.
And this actually pissed off one of the reviewers of this language.
I understand that.
It's hard to say, and he does mix up sounds, but it seems like he has actually dabbled with Japanese.
나는 애니메이션 보기 전에 K-드라마를 먼저 봤어. 한국어는 들었으든 말하든 진짜 외노노야. 여주인공들이 오빠랑 싸울 때 목소리가 진짜 고엽지. 특히 혼자 쏠 때는 더 고요. 하지만 나는 한국 여자랑은 절대 데이트 안 할 거야. 얼가 구해서가 아니라.
Okay, of those who reviewed his Korean, the first comment was actually that of sadness because they were expecting the North Korean dialect as per the thumbnail. However,
as per the thumbnail, yeah.
But overall, his Korean doesn't sound like Korean, and he was only really understandable about 50% of the time, and they basically relied on the subtitles.
Polyglots 101, Bosnian.
So Korean ki priznaju ime organ pozivan. Ne bih prihvatio nijednu. Jere da se.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Bosnian proved a difficult one because I couldn't find a native
Why was there some anime Japanese at the end?
Speaker. However, the comments are that he basically has a very thick accent. He makes mistakes, although he used the grammar correctly at certain points.
Using the grammar correctly when it comes to polyglots, that it doesn't even mean anything because it could be a pre-made sentence. I mean, just a pre-made sentence, you read it, but you don't know what you're saying. It's just a bunch of sounds. And so I think an indicator more than grammar is the pauses, the natural pauses within speech flow that someone who is experienced with a language knows how and when to insert.
And it was basically hit and miss.
وارفع الخفض اختر يحمي النور المسطر ردد يا الله اكبر يا موطني موطني استفخر مسلم عاش الملك للعلم
Why is he singing? It's like it would be, this is the equivalent of like a hyperpolyglot saying, hey, I'm speaking English, let me sing a hymn from a church. Oh, it's the national anthem. It's the national anthem, I see. So like Fratelli d'Italia. Fratelli d'Italia, l'Italia se desta. How about that? I'm fluent in Italian.
عمان يمكن إيش في مسقط سنة كده تقريبا بس أسوأ شيء بالعربية هو اللهجة خليجي عماني نجدي حجازي مصري شامي جزائري مغربي يمني وعراقي كثير وجيد يلا بس لهجتي المفضلة هي الإماراتية.
Okay, so he actually received good comments on his Arabic. Basically, his pronunciation was understandable, and it was probably the first language that they believed he had studied.
C'est le même de parler un peu de langue romaine. Le français, c'est clairement ma préférée dans cette famille. On dit que le français, c'est la langue de la mort.
Le français, c'est la langue de la mer. It's like you can't get more stereotypical than that sentence.
Dans le monde
La France est très belle. J'aime bien la baguette. La pasta è buona. La pizza col pomodoro.
l'arabe est pas trop compliqué, mais la prononciation, ouf, c'est pas facile. Le français, c'est facile pour les Européens, mais pour les Indiens, pas vraiment.
Okay, so the comments on his French were that
Indien wasn't bad. He's got decent nasalized sounds, but everything else was just copy paste, the most basic sentence that you could ever make.
he definitely made mistakes.
Misaccorded the
that
genre,
were
yeah.
really bad mistakes for someone to be making at that
Oh
level.
yeah, he said amour, not amour. Exactly. I don't even know why I didn't notice that. Of course, amour, not amour.
French, if you're actually at the level that he's showing here, they would be something that basically a learner of the language would have to get right early on.
Yeah.
And also that he had kind of a bad accent.
Yeah, la langue de l'amour.
Me llamo Tokyo, pero cuando comencé esta historia, no me llamaba así. Ese era yo y ese es el amor de mi vida. La última vez que lo vi, lo dejé en un charco de sangre con los ojos abiertos. Hicimos 15 atracos limpios, pero mezclar el trabajo y el amor nunca funciona. Así que cuando el segurata disparó, tuve que cambiar de profesión ladrona a asesina. Nani?
Overall, the comments on the Spanish were that it was
Guys, next is Italian.
bad. And he's basically just reciting a piece
Yeah.
from Money Heist, which is a Netflix
Oh,
show.
really?
And the character being Tokyo.
Pizza o pasta, a me piacciono entrambe. Quando vedo qualcuno che sta imparando l'italiano, parla sempre con quel gesto. Sul serio, non c'è uno studente d'italiano che non lo faccia.
Oh, it's terrible. This is really bad. Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I was actually getting ready to say, you know what, his Italian is pretty good. It's horrible. This is really bad. I'm sorry to say that because it makes me feel bad. But then again, his stress is completely wrong. Like, he hasn't got a clue how to pronounce any word. Like, he's never heard someone say any of those words in Italian. I feel bad because usually I don't say that. I always want to be motivating towards people. But that's a bit of a mockery of my language, to be honest.
Ormai è diventata quasi una moda. O forse dovrei dire un meme?
Okay,
Yeah, and the grammar is it's a mess. Yeah.
the comments on his
They're wrong. His Italian is better than his Spanish? No, I don't think so.
Italian are that they seem to be better than Spanish, but I also have a comment here from a native Italian speaker, the third
go.
one being that, where they found a ton of holes in his Italian capabilities.
Yeah, all the stresses are wrong. It would be like instead of saying conversation, he said conversation. The stresses are very important in Italian. And usually, I mean, every student of Italian that I've ever met learns it, learns where to place it. This makes me feel, I'm going to be honest, okay? Yeah, exactly. Qualcuno. You see, that's the wrong. It's qualcuno, not qualcuno. L'italiano instead of l'italiano. Exactly. It's completely wrong. And so it makes me feel like he never even studied it. This is someone who has never, he just got a text and tried to read it fast. He did not put even 15 minutes into my language. I'm sorry.
In that 18 seconds of speech.
Yeah.
Ako belajar bahasa Asia yang paling senang ni. Sebab dia tak ada artikel, tak ada conjugation, tak ada tenses, tak ada tata bahasa yang susah. And abjad dia pun senang gila. Tapi aku tak pernah pergi Malaysia, cuma banyak kali singkatkan clear untuk translator.
The comment was here that he seems to be reading off a teleprompter. And as we go further and further through these videos, you'll see that this comment starts to become...
So basically you see that he's moving his eyes. That's one thing that annoys me. In fact, once in my career as a YouTuber, I made over 1,000 videos. I never used the teleprompter. And when the camera is facing me, I never read. When the camera is off, Yeah, sometimes I'm reading something from my script because I know I'm going to put a B-roll there. But if I'm speaking and I'm looking at you, there is never anything within 1,000 videos